What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about the Coleco Chameleon and the dishonesty that was just uncovered.
What's on Jay's mind?
Okay, so many of you probably know by now, this is kind of everywhere in gaming forums, especially retro gaming forums. There was a system being developed by Mike Kennedy, who owns Retro Magazine, and it was going to be called the Retro VGS. Well, he took his project to Kickstarter. It didn't get its funding. He later kind of rebranded it as the Coleco Chameleon, and he was just getting ready to take that project to Indiegogo because Kickstarter basically told him, you can't put this on here because you don't have a working prototype yet. Well, why is there no working prototype? Hang on, might get to that in a second. Recently at the New York Toy Fair, there was pictures posted of it online, and people did some research, and basically they discovered that he was using a motherboard from a capture card, a capture device. And if you don't know what that is, it's what a lot of YouTubers, Let's Players, they use capture devices to capture their video game footage. Reviewers, do it too. Very, very common thing. Then it was discovered, he changed it up, posted more pictures. It was discovered that he was basically using the motherboard of a NES or SNES Mini or the Model 2. So I don't have one in front of me right now. Otherwise I can show you that. Jordan, maybe throw a picture up here. So what this means is basically that it was uncovered that he wasn't being honest about his product, about what it was running, what it was going to do, anything like that. And the reason Kickstarter said, no, you can't do this, because he did not have a working prototype. Even though he had a working demo at New York Toy Fair, it wasn't good enough for them. He was basically taking someone else's work, most likely patented product, and trying to pass it off as his own. Here's what I think he was trying to do. Now, this is speculation. I don't know. I haven't talked to the guy. I don't, gotta be honest with you, I don't want to talk to the guy. AC. Every time I always forget. What I think Mike Kennedy was trying to do was, he was trying to make some money. And is there anything wrong with that? No, absolutely not. He's trying to make his way in this world, trying to have his own business, trying to make his own money and not have to work for someone else. American dream, right? The problem with it, and this is all speculation and theory. I think what he was trying to do, he had this idea. The Coleco Chameleon was basically, it was an Atari Jaguar shell. And supposedly he got the mold for the Jaguar, bought it, whatever he did. So he was able to produce these chameleons, or RVSs, RG video RV, I don't fucking know, whatever, ACDCs, okay, for all I care right now. Anyhow, I think what he was trying to do, he had this idea, but he didn't have the money to get it done, to put it in place. And what he was trying to do was raise this money so he could make this product. Since Kickstarter, the way Kickstarter works is, if you don't get your funding, you don't get the money. All the money usually gets turned back to all the people who donated to the project. Which is why he probably should have used Indiegogo in the first place, because then he might have had some funds. Not saying it's okay what he's trying to do, or I think he's trying to do here, but again, I think he was trying to raise the money to make this product that I just don't think there was a huge market for. To begin with, to be honest with you, there's a lot of shady things that have gone on around this project. Initially, I think he announced he was going to put it out at $350, and then that raised to $500 recently. And then, of course, people discovering that he was using technology in this that wasn't even his. Most likely didn't have permission, whatever. That's just shady. It's shady dealings. Obviously, that turns a lot of people off. On top of that, this guy has been taking down pictures and stuff that have been posted on Facebook, that he's posted on Facebook, deleting comments, all this kind of stuff, and whatever else. It looks really, really bad for the Coleco Chameleon and for Mr. Kennedy. But I don't feel sorry for you. If you're going to do something like this, be honest. Be honest with your audience. Try to, tell them, hey, here's my idea. Here's what I need to make it happen. Your money is going to make that happen. With your donation or whatever, you're purchasing one of these consoles or whatever the product may be when it comes out. but he didn't do that. It was sneaky. It was manipulative. I think he lied to a lot of people. I mean, you can kind of call him a snake oil salesman, if you will. And because of that, there's been recent controversy amongst YouTubers with it, too. A lot of people are, okay, Pat the NES Punk recently did a video. By recently, this is yesterday at time of filming. And he says in his video, he calls out websites that covered this thing. He calls out Retro Magazine, which is Mike Kennedy's magazine. He calls out Mike Kennedy. He calls out people that work on the development team. He doesn't say names. He does, however, go on to say anybody directly involved with the making of this product, fuck you. I can't say I disagree with him right there. He says anyone who promoted this product who does not who did not ask the questions, right? Did not ask the right questions and do their homework and their research. He says you're part of the problem. I got to be honest. In a manner of speaking, he's kind of right. He's kind of right. But you know, when something comes out like this, you might get excited about it. You might want something, you know, new and retro to happen and whatever, and you get blinded by a shiny new toy. That is understandable. That's human nature, in my opinion. Now, Pat, in his comments, a lot of people who watch this video on this podcast, see Completely Unnecessary Podcast, they went on and basically said, oh, he's talking about Gamester 81. He's talking about Gamester 81. Pat never said Gamester 81. And there's been this lobbying lately of social media, Twitter and Facebook, for him to go on and apologize to Gamester and say, you know, make a statement basically saying, look, I'm not talking about Gamester 81. Would that be a nice gesture for Pat to do? Sure. Is Pat obligated to do something like that? No. I'm sorry, he's not. It's his channel. And I know Pat, and he's not going to let anyone dictate what he does and what he uploads on his channel. And I gotta say, I don't blame the guy for that. I did talk to Pat this morning, and he did say he will be covering this on his next episode of the CU podcast, which is soon. I don't know, I think he films on Fridays or something. So if you want to hear Pat's side of things and what he has to say about it, and you know, will he or will he not touch on Gamester 81, I don't know. But you'd have to tune into his podcast to figure that one out or to see that for yourself. John, as far as John is concerned, I remember when this thing was happening and in pre-production, John was excited about it. Why was John excited about it? Because it was a retro console. He was excited about it because they approached him and his company, Collector Vision Games, to produce a game for it. And from what I understand, a pack-in title for this Coleco Chameleon. So of course he was excited about it. It was a business venture. It was a money-making opportunity for him. He had nothing to do with the production of the console itself. He had nothing to do with the making of the Chameleon itself. I can say that, okay? John, if you've ever met Gamester 81, in 5 minutes you'll know he's one of the nicest guys on YouTube, okay? He's not... I'm an asshole. I don't know why the fuck y'all even watch me. He's the anti-Jay, if you will. He's just a genuinely nice dude. Here's the other thing about John. He's an honest guy, okay? He's a good father, a good husband, a good man. He has a job, a quote-unquote real job. A lot of people don't think YouTube is a job. He's not making that YouTube money people think we make to be able to not work. He has a real legit job. He makes real legit money. Okay, on top of that, he started a video game convention last year called Game On Expo out in Mesa. We went to. It's fucking fantastic. I've not heard true hard numbers through the door, but it's speculated over 3,000 year one. You know what that is? That's a successful convention right out of the gate. He doesn't need to do something like this Chameleon to try to swindle people and take people's money. Why? Because he doesn't need your money. He doesn't need your money. He's got a convention going for him. He's got his own job, his own life. Way before YouTube, he's been doing his job. So get off John's back. And yeah, you know what? John's my friend. And even if you weren't, I'd be saying this. Even if I'd only met the guy once or twice or 3 times or whatever, I'd still be saying this about the guy. Because I know this about the guy. Pat, get off Pat's back. Pat doesn't owe anybody anything. He did not say Gamester's name. He did not say John's name. He did not single out John like he did with other websites, like he did with magazine, like he did with people working on the development of this Chameleon. The problem is, it's mob mentality. People automatically assume Pat meant Gamester, so people just ran with it. And there was people on Twitter and whatnot, you know, my friends attacking Pat, and I felt bad for Pat. because and Pat don't need me to feel bad for him. Pat can handle his own shit. You know, here's the thing with Pat though. Pat usually says what he means, and he usually knows what he's talking about it. If he meant to put John in that category, he would have said John. Okay? And he'd make no bones about it. I know they have talked to the extent of their relationship. I don't know. You'd have to ask John. That's between John and Pat. And even if I did know, honestly, it's not my place to put it out here. So they'll figure it out. Pat will be at Game On Expo, I think. I hope so. And we'll be there, and I'm sure we'll all have a beer and laugh about this in August. But right now it's a hot topic, and that's my opinion on it. So do what you want with it. Put your opinions down below, just on anything, really. But let's cut the drama in the gaming community. Let's get off Pat's ass. Let's get off John's ass. That's all I got to say. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching.